It is a beautiful morning. It is June 27th, and we've had some extremely hot temperatures here in western North Carolina over the past week. I think we've been hitting the 90s, so that's very rare for us anyway. But I'll just share with you some of the things that are growing here in my container garden on my deck. Again, I am a GreenStalk affiliate, so I will leave my link down below. If you would like to check some of these out on their website, you can get $10 off a purchase of $75 or more when you use my code Vego Garden at checkout. Okay, so over here is the leaf planter, and I had arugula growing here. So what I did was I took out the arugula, I just pulled it out instead of dumping the tier out and refreshing the soil, because arugula has a very shallow root system, so it's very easy just to gently pull that out without making a big mess. And so I will probably come back and put some bean seeds in here, 2 bush bean probably per pocket. Okay, and then I just have my 2 little containers here where I put seedlings that are not quite healthy, so they can kind of recover in here. Sometimes I'll put a cutting. They get a little bit more TLC from me, so they're all healthy and thriving now. And then I'm trying something new with the seed tray. Instead of direct sowing my melon and winter squash seeds, which is what I normally do, I'll normally just direct sow those right into my raised bed. I am putting them here in the seed tray to see what will come up, because right when they germinate, if I move them into the soil, it'll be great. I don't want them to get their true leaves or anything like that, but I do want to see which ones will germinate, because a lot of those are really old. So I don't want to take my time to try to direct sow all those into my raised bed. Plus I don't have enough room for them right now. I'm waiting to harvest my potatoes to free up some room. So I'm just seeing how that goes. I really am enjoying these seed trays from GreenStalk. They're big and they're just great. They're just wonderful. So let me show you guys over here too before I get too far ahead. I have some crisp lettuce on top, and then I have cucumbers, more tomatoes. This is one of the smaller tomatoes here. I think that one might be sun gold. Let me just turn it around. I'm using the deluxe spinner. Always easy just to kind of move it around. I need to put some more things over here, but I have nasturtiums. Normally a lot of these things are already planted in my garden and blooming, like the nasturtiums, but I am about a month behind on my planting this year. I had another project I was working on. So anyway, and now here are some beans, bush beans, getting some blooms on there. I put 2 per pocket. I got, as I mentioned in my last little tour of this garden, I'm getting some spotty germination on my bean seeds, and so some of the pockets are only 1 per pocket, 1 bean seed per pocket. Alright, and more crisp lettuce on top. This is a leaf planter with some scallions, Tulsi basil, parsley, and then more lettuce at the bottom. Now what I have over here is my spigot with some buckets of water, and before I water my garden, I always empty out my hose first. Very important to do that. So I will just turn on my hose. I might just empty it out into this bucket, and that's just to get out all of the hot water. It is so hot, and it will just burn up and kill my plants. So I make sure to empty that water out of the hose first. Okay, and then it will cool down overnight, and then I can use that water just to pour it on top of one of my planters if I need to. If I need to do some watering. Okay, and then over here, Tulsi basil, lots of that. It attracts so many pollinators. I know you don't see any right now, but I've seen a lot. And then we have some peppers on top there. This is another original planter. And then I have the Polish dwarf tomatoes. I have a lot of those this year. So there's some tomatoes already on there. Not ripe yet, but won't be long. And purple cayenne peppers nestled in there. Huge basil plant. That's the mammoth leaf basil plant. And I can just come out here, grab one of those leaves, and that's enough for one dish. So that's the mammoth basil. let's see, over here, this planter is hanging in there. It's the one that I planted broccoli and celeriac. Fennel is bolting. I'll use the seeds for cooking. And then I have carrots in there, right? And then I have more crisp lettuce on top. And it is just doing great. I'm so happy about the lettuce. This is kind of an experiment to see how long I can take it into the summer to enjoy it. So I'm going to use it for some BLTs. I'm real excited about that. And then I have dahlias. Those are in the Vego Garden tomato planters. Doing pretty good there. And then this, of course, is what I'm using from Vego Garden for my potting bench. And I just keep my GreenStalk seed trays down there, and I can just fill them up with the soil. That way I can get one step ahead. If I don't have a planter already emptied out, ready to go, but I need to get my seeds going like I did my melons, I'll just go ahead and fill it up with some soil and pop some seeds in there. So easy. I love having this. And so I just have some various little cuttings up here that I've propagated and grew some roots on. Okay, and then down here I have my bay leaf, sweet bay laurel, and it is doing great now. For a while there it was yellowing on me, drying out, but I'm making sure to keep a lot of water on it, so doing great there. I want to show you guys some of the other things growing, and I'll do that in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a beautiful day.